Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Addy. I welcome everyone for the Forest WSIB Excellence Program webinar. The clock's on 1 right now, and let's go ahead and start the presentation. There will be a few people joining in as we start the presentation. So this is a webinar that we are doing in partnership with the Ontario Sewer and Water Main Construction Association, and we really thank the OSWCA, Danielle, and every person at the OSWCA for helping us to put this webinar together. The purpose of this webinar is to educate everyone about how the WSIB Excellence Program can help you get rebates, not only get rebates, but address COVID-19 while you're doing that as well. So that's why we have expert speakers from WSIB, and we have our program head as well, who will be speaking about how we help our clients. So let's move on with the presentation. And before we start, just a couple of quick things. It'll be great if everyone could put themselves on mute as we start the webinar, and we will have a 10 to 15 minute Q&A session right at the end. So you'll have lots of time to ask questions. And if you have any questions which are pressing questions on a particular slide, feel free to interrupt and ask us the question. Thank you very much. So let's proceed with the webinar. The speakers for today's webinar are Florence Petraeus from WSIB and Myron Shrikanta from Forest Consulting. And just let everyone know that we are recording this webinar, and we will be providing a link to the recording to everyone in this webinar. And the purpose is to help it serve as a ready reference tool for everyone who is present today, and also those who could not make it because of a busy schedule. So this will be recorded. So if anyone's going to miss it, please do not worry. We will share the recording with everyone. Thank you very much. So without any further ado, let me now introduce our first speaker for today from WSIB. Her name is Florence Petraeus, and I have had the pleasure of actually doing a few webinars as well as the seminars in the good old non-COVID days with Florence. Florence is a highly passionate person about occupational health and safety. Florence has more than 20 years of experience with Workplace Safety and Insurance Board in occupational health and safety, stakeholder compliance, and experience rating. And she's highly experienced when it comes to the Health and Safety Excellence Program, for which we are all here today. So without any further delay, let me now transfer it over to Florence. Florence, all yours.
Thanks, Addy, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. And I just want to, before I get started, want to thank Forest for having me, and as well as the Ontario Sewer and Water Main Construction Association, and to those members that are listening in on this webinar. Thank you for attending. And so let's get started. So as Addy indicated, this presentation is on the Health and Safety Excellence Program and how it relates to COVID-19. The COVID-19 pandemic has created a great deal of uncertainty in our personal lives and has changed the way business operates for the foreseeable future. And we can all agree every business in Ontario must be diligent to ensure they have workplaces that are healthy and safe for their employees and the public, with the new measures to control the spread of COVID-19. And so having said that, the Workplace Safety and Insurance Board is here to help you create the healthiest and safest workplace possible. Whether you are just getting started by responding to COVID-19 or you want to improve on your health and safety program, you already have in place. So our Excellence Program provides a clear roadmap for you to improve health and safety in your workplace. This webinar will provide you with information on how the WSIB's Health and Safety Excellence Program can help your company develop, implement needed health and safety programs while earning financial rebates and positive public recognition. So as you are all aware, the government of Ontario released new safety guidelines to protect workers, customers, and the general public from COVID-19 as it prepares for a gradual reopening of the provincial economy. These guidelines are available for different industry sectors and were developed in partnership with the Ministry of Labor, Training and Skills Development and the Health and Safety Associations. As you can see below in the blue box, there is a hyperlink. You can't really see very much the words there, but there is a hyperlink to the guidelines. If you haven't looked into it, I encourage you to go specifically to your industry and look at the guidelines that have been outlined for your industry specifically. And as you can see on the far right-hand side, you can see there are some examples of controls. As you look at the guidelines, these are some examples of controls that you can implement in your workplace if they are applicable. So types of controls, I know a lot of companies are speaking about right now, curbside pickup, physical distancing probably would apply in your type of industry. Workplace sanitation, most definitely for your industry. PPE, training employees on transmission points, and most importantly, probably screening workers for health issues. So these are all types of controls that you can implement in your workplace. And so the Health and Safety Excellence Program is here to help you implement these guidelines. We're going to go from the far top left-hand corner to the right-hand side. So first and foremost, the first box talks to, there are 36 health and safety topics to help navigate a path through the pandemic and build a more resilient and sustainable business. The next box, you can select up to 5 health and safety topics to help you address the priorities outlined in the Ontario government's industry-specific safety guidelines if you wish. Third box, aside from the financial rebate, you can also receive recognition badges to use on your website, email signatures, vehicles, company advertisements to show others your commitment to workplace health and safety. This is very important for all employers as they reopen their businesses to show that you value everyone's health and safety. Your recognition badges will also show up on your business profile on our website when people search for your safety stats. The next box is you can receive a rebate on WSIB premiums for each health and safety topic that you complete, including any topics to address specifically COVID-19. The next box we have is you can receive COVID-19 related tools and resources from an approved provider. One being 4S, they are a WSIB approved provider, and they will assist you in developing policies and procedures to address the Ontario government safety guidelines if needed. These guidelines are sector specific and will help employers and workers better understand how to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Addie, if we can just go back to the slide that you just, I have one last box, and that's the bottom right-hand box. Specifically speaks to the Health and Safety Excellence Program is extremely flexible. That's the way we've built it. So you can join the program when it's right for you and select the health and safety topics that are most important to your business. Next slide, Addie. Thank you. Next box, sorry. Oh, pardon me, sorry. My computer's lagging. Pardon me, my internet connection. Pardon me, everyone. So this slide here, our Health and Safety Excellence Program can help you reopen your business with confidence and adjust to physical distancing restrictions. I'm going to provide you with a brief overview of 5 of the Excellence Program topics that we suggest that can help you in following the government safety guidelines. You'll notice the topics flow from one focus to another, which is helpful for implementation into your workplace, and evidence submission for rebates and recognition. The first box, the first topic that we are suggesting, and this is merely a suggestion, you don't have to do these if you don't want to, is risk assessment. And so when you're looking at risk assessment, you want to ask the questions, are you and your teams aware of the hazards in your workplace? How to control the spread of COVID-19? The risk assessment topic in our program helps businesses identify existing and any new workplace hazards. For example, do your teams work exclusively from home, Or have you had to retool your operations as they transition back to work, which I'm assuming for your type of industry, you would have to have done this. Can we help you assess and identify any new hazards in these new working conditions? So that's kind of some thought process around risk assessment. Control of hazards helps you reorganize your workplace to remain safe and help control the spread of COVID-19 through the implementation of engineering controls such as plexiglass panels, administrative controls, staggering schedules potentially, safe work practices such as increased hygiene and sanitation measures, and most importantly, personal protective equipment such as wearing masks and gloves. The third topic is emergency prevention and preparedness, and perhaps your emergency prevention and preparedness plan needs updating to ensure your organization is ready to address any new challenges resulting from COVID-19 and remains pandemic ready. The fourth topic, emergency response, and this is where we look to defining a detailed work plan to address COVID-19 and controlling the spread of the virus and safely resuming your business operations if you've had to. And last but not least, workplace health and promotion. Right now, while so many businesses are planning for and configuring physically distancing operations in workspaces, a lot of your staff are worried about the future and what their regular workday could potentially look like in the pandemic. And so if you're going to attract and retain good people, they have to feel safe at work. And it's important to remember that how safe your employees feel will impact your business and their work. You want to empower your staff and support employee mental health through the pandemic to foster a more engaged and resilient workforce. Feeling safe at work is now a primary focus for us all. And so looking at those topics, that's the top 5 that we've suggested for you. However, it's not encompassing everyone that, every topic that we do have in our topic guide. Next steps, and so let's talk about the next steps. And so the COVID-19 pandemic has definitely changed the way businesses operate for the foreseeable future. The Health and Safety Excellence Program currently has approximately about 1,620 employers working on their roadmap to improve health and safety in the workplace. So whether your company, again, like I mentioned earlier, is just getting started or needing to respond to COVID-19 or needs to improve your health and safety programs that you already have in place, please feel free to contact for us or visit our webpage at WSIB.ca.en Health and Safety for further information on our program. Most importantly, on that page, I just want to kind of indicate again, 4S is a WSIB approved provider, and their information is there, and a link to their website is also there, and their contact information. So I'm pretty sure we can all agree every business in Ontario must be diligent to ensure they have workplaces that are healthy, safe for their employees and the public, with specific attention limiting the spread of COVID-19 while ensuring financial incentives per topic and recognition. And the Workplace Safety and Insurance Board is here to help you in creating the healthiest and safest workplaces possible. Next slide. And so as I mentioned earlier during the presentation, here are some links to resources and supports that we do have available. As you can see, the first one is WSIB updates. We do update this link every so often. It's updated quite regularly. So if you need any information on the WSIB related specifically to COVID, I encourage you to click on that link. The second point is we do have a document specifically related to the adjudication of COVID-19 claims. We have been receiving claims coming into the WSIB for those that have contracted the virus in the course of employment. So having said that, if you are interested in knowing what that document looks like and how we will be adjudicating those claims, that document is there for your resource. The third point, for those that are not aware, we have introduced about a couple months ago a financial relief program. And what this is the deferral of premium reporting as well as paying premiums to the WSIB until August 31st of 2020. So for those that are interested in this program, there is information on our website as well for that. And last but not least, WSIB online services, you probably are all aware, a lot of our services are online. And so this is a hyperlink that will link you to those online services if you need to, get into those services. That link is there for you guys. My presentation will be provided to you after the session by Addie and the 4S team. And the hyperlinks do work. And so I encourage you, if you are interested, you can click on those links. But most importantly, you can also contact myself. I'll ask for us to send you my contact information and my email address. And if you have any further questions, I can definitely address them at that time, or I can answer any questions. If there's any questions, Addie, I know I went quite quickly. I know I have about 15 minutes or so, and so I might have gone too fast.
No worries.
Are there any questions?
No worries, Florence. It was fast, but it was precise and clear. A lot of wonderful points, as usual, were covered. And please let us know anyone has any questions right now. You can either put your questions in the comment box. Let me quickly check the comment box to see if there's any questions at the moment. I don't see any questions coming in, but do feel free to put in your questions right now in the comment box. And there is a 15-minute question and answer session right at the end. And thank you very much, Florence, for a wonderful explanation. And I'd like to take this opportunity to actually congratulate WSIB for being so proactive in such a critical moment for the world and for Canada as well during the COVID-19 pandemic, to see how the health and safety initiatives and the efforts that the companies are putting in can be linked to the health and safety excellence program. So how you can excel while you're working on keeping your workers safe from COVID and stop workplace transmission. Excellent job at that WSIB has done, and we are so proud of that. Thanks a lot. And that brings us to the second part of the presentation. As Florence mentioned, 4S is a WSIB approved provider for the Health and Safety Excellence Program, and we call our program for Safety Excellence Program. So it's our version of the WSIB Excellence Program. And the person who heads our program is Mayuran Shrikanta. So Myron will be taking over from here and explaining everyone what we do to help our clients and take them from basic compliance to safety excellence, and how we help them build a culture and support them during this critical moment. Myron, without any delay, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Addie. I appreciate the introduction. Thank you, Florence and the WSIB. Thank you for providing that overview. So what we're going to talk about today is how you guys can participate in the Excellence Program and earn rebates. So there's really 4 steps to the program. So there's join, develop, submit, and earn. So join is join the program through an approved provider. As Florence mentioned, 4S is an approved provider, and we're happy to work with you on your Excellence Program efforts. Then the next thing we want to do is develop your action plan. So your action plan is really going to be what topics do you want to work on, and what is your timeline. The timelines question is an interesting one, and I'll go over why that is in a couple of slides. But the action plan really is all about what topics do you want to select, and then how we're going to work towards completing them. Then the next step really is called submit. So submitting your documentation for WSIB validation. So there is an application process, and for us, we walk you through that application process. And you submit your information on the WSIB portal. And finally, that gets you to the last step, which is earn. So there is the opportunity for financial rebates. Typically, it's a percentage of your WSIB premium from 2019 or 2020. We'll walk through the kind of calculation for how that works and what the incentive is. And then you also get non-financial recognition as well. So on the join step, what you want to do is click on the WSIB approved provider on the following link. Then you contact the WSIB provider, and then you register with the provider for the program. So we do have detailed instructions for how this works, and we'll be sending that with the deck after this presentation is over. So on the develop side is really about how you're going to build your action plan. So what we have is we have group sessions set up, so tailored to construction companies like yourselves. So groups are discussing industry-specific topics. And what we want to do is complete your topic assessment and pick your 5 topics. So there's 36 topics in total, ranging from foundation level all the way up to advanced. And what we want to do is make sure that the 5 topics are relevant to what you're doing. And specifically, if you want to do COVID-19 related topics, then as Florence mentioned, there's really 5 key topics to do. So it kind of helps kind of self-select what your topics already are going to be if you plan to be doing COVID-19. And then finally, we develop your action plan. So how are you actually going to complete those topics? What's your start point and what's your end point, and what's the evidence you're going to be submitting? And as I mentioned, we are a WSIB provider, so you can work with us. Now, the submit process, what happens is we actually have a self-validation process that we run with you on our technology called ForSafeCom. And then after we kind of run through as a kind of a dry run what your application and submission is, then you go again onto the WSIB portal and you submit the program documents. And again, we provide detailed instructions for how to do this, okay? And the way we've developed our application is we've really limited the amount of paperwork that is required. We want to make sure it's comprehensive and living and breathing, but the WSIB has been very clear to us. They don't want to see hundreds of pages of paper, essentially. They want to see living and breathing evidence. So great examples of validation are things such as photos, posters, emails, things like that, okay? And again, we'll walk through those details with you. Next slide, please, Andy. And finally, the earn. So we're going to just walk through the financial incentive. So it is a bit of a complicated calculation for the incentive. It's important to know that realistically, it's about 7 to 10% of your WSIB premium. So if your WSIB premium was $100,000, then your incentive would be $7,000 to $10,000. So we have customers ranging from extremely small customers that don't pay too much in premiums at all, only a few $1,000s, to customers paying, frankly, hundreds of thousands up to millions of dollars in premiums. So we can work with customers of all sizes. And if you do sign up with us, we can actually provide you, even if you don't sign up with us, as part of the follow-up to this presentation, what we will be doing is providing you with an incentive calculator. So you can actually calculate what your rebate would be. Okay, so we will provide that information to you. Next slide, please. So a bit about 4S Consulting Services. I'm not sure if any of you on the call have actually worked with us before. We are one of Ontario's leading occupational health and safety companies. Extremely comprehensive. We have, as I mentioned, we have very small clients in all areas, including construction, all the way to some of the very largest clients in construction, as well as in the broader sector. So we definitely, in our roster, we include companies such as Amazon, Starbucks, and GTAA. So what's interesting about 4S is we are an integrated health and safety company. And what that really means is we have a 3-pillar approach. We provide health and safety consulting services. So if you need policy development or, for example, help with certification programs such as CORE or ISO 45001. We provided our online technology solution, ForSafeCom, which really helps you manage your health and safety program. And then we also provide health and safety training, both in person and online. Obviously, with COVID-19 happening, the in-person training is really limited, but we do provide lots of different important government mandated training, as well as other types of training for health and safety. One of the specific things we're offering now, I think, which is complementary, is COVID awareness training for employers and employees. So I do encourage all of you guys to check that out. And as Florence actually mentioned, that can actually contribute to some of your topics if you do take that training, because it becomes evidence for your topics. So just next slide, please, Ivy. Okay, one thing I do want to reinforce before we get into the details of this slide is, again, we do have lots of companies in the construction industry. So we're very familiar with construction. We're very familiar with CORE. So we do know exactly what you're going through with regards to developing your health and safety policies and how you'll participate in this program. So with regards to 4S, what does the program cost? So if you sign up for a group package, it's essentially $1,000 plus HST per company or per WSIB account, up to $1 million in premium. I'm not sure if we have some extremely large companies on this call, But if we do, then you may have a premium above $1 million. But frankly, over 95% of companies are below $1 million. So at that point, to you, you should know that the cost is $1,000 plus tax. Okay. So what you get with those group sessions is what we do is we help you select your topics. We figure out how you can actually complete them. We approve your action plan. And then what we also do is you participate in these group sessions where we walk you through actually how you complete the topics. Our next group session is actually going to be a working session, so it'll be very useful for everyone participating because they can come and ask questions specifically with what exactly they're struggling with, and we're going to answer those questions for them. And then we also provide additional consulting, policy development, and training support. Those are at extra costs. So what is the Forest advantage? As I mentioned, we are very familiar with construction. We provide lots of mentoring and group networking, and we are experienced ISO and core auditors. So we know the construction industry and health and safety very well. And then additionally, we have the ForSafeCom technology system, and that really facilitates your participation in this program because everything is done electronically and there's shared resources. You don't need to be digging through your emails for information. It's all on that platform if you need it. So as I mentioned, we are doing groups. As of June, we have 5 groups going. My suggestion to you guys would be to join either the core or ISO 45000 group. Again, it doesn't have to mean that you're doing core or ISO 45000, but a lot of companies in that group are construction companies. And then we also have a services/industrial group, which is open to lots of different companies, and we have lots of heavy construction, heavy manufacturing in that group as well. We also do provide for very large corporations one-on-one sessions. It is a premium service model. It's customized, so it's not group sessions. It's exactly we work with you directly. The fee structure there is a bit different, but if anyone's interested in that, please follow up with us, and we can give you more details on that. Next slide, please, Adam. So this is a very important concept in terms of what you want to get out of this program, and more importantly, when do you want to get it? So the WSIB does do 2 payment runs. So the first one is in November 2020, and then their next one is scheduled for May or June of 2021 next year. So with the November 2020 deadline, there is an August 1st deadline for submission to the WSIB, which means if you wanted to participate in the program now, what you really have to show is that you've kind of already started your COVID-19 planning process. Select the 5 or up to 1 to 5 of those COVID-19 topics, and essentially enroll immediately. Because there is literally only about a month and a half to finish those topics to make sure they meet the WSIB deadline for November 2020. And again, when we're doing our topic assessment call with you, we will try and assess where you are in your COVID-19 planning and implementation process, and we can try and give you a realistic assessment of whether that's something that fits with your schedule, or if it's better to be waiting till the next year. And again, you can do COVID-19 topics and topic content for next year, but if you do want to get this year's rebate, then there is a bit more of a rush. Okay. Addy, just next slide, please. So using the ForSafeCom technology solution for the Excellence Program. So it is a technology solution. It's a web application. You can log in from anywhere. And what it is there's 2 different types of folders. There's a shared resource folder for all customers. So for example, things like these slides, the customer journey map, any WSIB materials and resources, they're all posted in the shared folder. And then anything specific to you, so for example, your service agreement, invoices, specific topic content for you, our feedback on your submission and your validation, all of that goes in the individual customized folder. And really the benefit of this is that you're not really tracking through emails. All of the correspondence is there in your individual folder, and it's very easy to keep track of. Now, of course, if you want to track everything through emails, we do email you as well with all of these documents, but we do recommend using ForSafeCom because you'll see how it helps a lot with document management and control of records and things. Next slide, please. So I did mention earlier, 4S has actually developed complementary training modules for COVID-19. So we've developed really 5 different modules. The module that was really specific for you guys is the COVID-19 awareness training for the construction sector. So I encourage all of you guys to take advantage of it. You'll find that it really helps both you as employers and health and safety professionals, as well as your employees, kind of navigate the COVID-19 space and understand exactly what you need to be doing and what's important to keep in mind. And we do have the 1 and 2 there. We do have the awareness training specifically for employers as well as for employees. And it's really great information. It's complementary. We do we do recommend that you take advantage of it. And with the follow-up to this presentation in our email to you, we'll show you how you can sign up for the training as well. Okay, and it's actually perfect. It fits as validation for some of these topics. So, for example, workplace health promotion, emergency prevention and preparedness. By doing some of that complementary training, it provides evidence for the WSIB for completing those topics. So it does serve multiple purposes. So that's really what I want to stress today. Really important in terms of feedback is if you do want to go to do the November 2020 rebate, you do need to sign up right away, and we do need to make an assessment of where exactly you are. So Addy, if you can actually just flip back to Florence's slides, I do want to spend a couple of minutes just talking about the topic specifically. So if you go to the one where it has the this one, perfect. So what we do our assessment with you on deciding whether you can actually apply for the November 2020 rebate or not, is what we'll do is we'll talk to you about, have you already started some of this work, and then can we get it all documented within the next 6 weeks, essentially. So for the risk assessment, you can only really do that topic if you already have a risk registry, and what you're doing is you're just modifying it by adding the COVID-19 related health and safety risks. Okay, so you need to have an existing risk registry for you to be able to do this topic within the next 6 weeks. If you don't have a risk registry, then you really wouldn't be able to do the topic. Control of hazards is a topic that anyone can do, provided that you've added engineering controls, administrative controls, or safe work practices. So what we're seeing is that really falls into 4 different categories. Health screening, so are you checking both employees and visitors before they come to work or before the interactions? Distancing, what are the distancing requirements you put into work? So are you doing contactless interactions? Are you allowing some people to work at home if they can? Are you kind of segregating, not segregating, but kind of isolating the workplace into different areas and making sure that you have tight access control? Then there's hygiene and sanitation. So do you have enhanced cleaning procedures with regard to COVID-19? That's a topic that a lot of people like to use. And then finally, are you mandating personal protective equipment for COVID-19? So if you have examples of any of those 4 things, that would show as control of hazards as a topic. Emergency prevention and preparedness. As Florence mentioned, this is really about the broader scale of what are you doing with regards to preventing and the spread of COVID-19 in your workplace, and also preparing for it. So any of your health and safety activities that you've now deployed as a result of COVID-19, those all qualify under that topic. Now, what's very important is you should already have an existing emergency prevention and preparedness plan. If you don't have an existing emergency prevention and preparedness plan that deals with health and safety and such emergencies such as fire and bomb threat and all those things, then you wouldn't qualify. So you need to make sure that you have those existing plans in place, and then all you're doing is you're adding COVID-19 to it. Emergency response. The key here is the definition of the work plan. So again, you should have a work plan to deal with other emergencies such as fire or bomb threat or gas leak or whatever. And then what we're doing is really adding a specifically defined work plan to address COVID-19. So how are you going to talk to the person? How are you going to do contact tracing? How are you going to interview them? Where are they going to be? Are they going to be inside or outside? How are you sending them home? What resources are you giving them? Are you encouraging them to go get testing? What instructions are you giving them for that? So all of those things need to be in that work plan. And then finally, as Florence mentioned, workplace health promotion. So this is really about the health and safety initiatives you're doing in your workplace to promote health and safety, specifically with a focus on mental health and managing anxiety and stress. And then also providing training that you can then take outside of work. So for example, with that COVID-19 awareness training, if there's specific things in there that you can then apply to your home lives, for example, go home and talk to your family about some of the things you're learning, then again, that's a specific example of workplace health promotion. Again, you should have an existing workplace health promotion package of things developed before you to be eligible. So you need to have some kind of employee assistance program or some kind of health and wellness program or some kind of way of engaging with your employees currently to be talking about health and safety. And then what we're planning to do there and just add the COVID-19 specific focus there to those. So hopefully that helps with the eligibility. The key really, if you want to apply for the November rebate, is having an existing platform that we're just building on for COVID-19. If you're starting from scratch, I would not recommend, frankly, I don't think you'd be eligible to do the topics other than control of hazards for the November rebate. Now for the May rebate, there's plenty of time and we can literally start from scratch and build all of your policies comprehensively, both COVID and non-COVID related. I'm just looking at the chat and there's a few questions. So I,
No questions, Myron, but maybe if Florence was sharing an example, if so you could just talk about a control of hazard topic, like engineering, administrative, safe work practices, can all be control of hazards, and can all qualify as control of
yeah,
hazards. Yeah, you can be
yeah,
talking about
exactly. So any of those things are examples. So for example, if you're have a new process to for people making deliveries now, that's essentially an administrative or safe work practice for controlling COVID-19, which is a hazard there. So control of hazards is the one topic that everyone should be eligible for, provided you're doing something reasonable there. Okay. All the other topics require you to have some existing platform of health and safety developed, and then we're just adding COVID-19 on top of it. Okay. So
Yeah, sorry, Myron. Can I just, it's Florence. If I could just interject. Yeah, my comment was, under control of hazards, like the hazard is COVID-19, and that's what you would select. And then you would implement the controls that you're going to implement to tackle the hazard, which is COVID-19, which would be, for this type of industry, construction, hygiene, sanitation would definitely be prevalent. Physical distancing would be prevalent as well, and so forth, right? That was kind of my conversation in the chat. I just wanted to send it out there to the group.
thank you, Florence, for that clarification. Yeah, so COVID-19 is a hazard, and it's really any control that you're using to control it. So typically those four things are distancing, hygiene and sanitation, PPE, and health screening. Typically any control for COVID-19 is typically falling into one of those four areas. And then you'd pick one of those subsets, essentially.
Thank you very much, Myron. That was a great explanation, and thank you so much, Florence, as well. As I see the clock, we still have about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes for the questions. But however, please feel free to ask questions right now. This is a great opportunity. You have WSIB right here for you. We have Florence from WSIB to explain or clear any queries you have about the program. So excellent point raised by both Florence and Myron about control of hazards. I'm almost certain that every employer, definitely in the construction industry for sure, is going to have some kind of physical distancing or some kind of control of hazard procedure. When you're putting in the efforts and doing all the hard work and hard yards, here's the opportunity from the WSIB Excellence Program to get incentivized for doing the same as well. However, there is a window, there is a time restriction, as Myron mentioned. So if anyone has any questions regarding any of the topics, how you can adjust your program regarding to it, or about enrolling for the program, we are here for the next 5 or 10 minutes. Please let us know. We'll try and take as many questions as we can. So any inputs or anything, Myron, while we wait for the questions that you'd like to share, or anything from Florence?
The other thing I want to stress is if you do want to take advantage of the Excellence Program, but you don't feel like you can participate within the next 6 weeks, again, the stuff is eligible for 2021. So we can start now and get you going for 2021. There'll be much less time pressure, and there is the opportunity then to earn rebates in 2021 as well. So I did want to stress that. If you feel like it's going to be a lot of work for the next 6 weeks, but you still want to have the opportunity to earn incentives and rebates, then you can always register, and we can work towards 2021.
Absolutely right, Myron. It's a very well made point. There's no pressure here. There's no force. However, if you have to, if you're targeting the November 2020, the time restriction needs to be factored in. And as I speak, Myron and Florence, I see a question coming in. And the question is from someone whose name is a letter D. I don't know what the name of the person is, but they say, do we have up to 6 weeks to register or follow up with all the info too? Maybe Florence or Myron, who wants to take this?
Well, essentially what we can say is everything has to be done within the next 6 weeks. So the registration process, I'd probably stress that it should be done within the next few days. And then you want to work on getting all the documentation together over the next 6 weeks. In terms of a hard deadline for registration, I believe the WSIB has said they don't want anyone after June. So the hard deadline for registration, I would say, is June 30th. But again, we would recommend you to register as soon as possible and then start working on the topics, because everything is due by August 1st if you want to get the November 2020 rebate.
Thanks a lot for that question. Yeah. So, yeah, sorry, you're saying something, Florence?
Yeah, I was just going to add to Myron's point. You know, I want to stress the importance that we all know that you guys have been working specifically on COVID-19, maybe even emergency prevention and preparedness, emergency response, probably since February, March. You've been amending probably old or creating new policies. Having said that, you know, if you've been doing that, we want to reward you for the great work that you've been doing. So even that past work, so whether it be in February or March of this year of 2020, if you've introduced a new policy specifically, like, you know, emergency response, or updated it, communicated it and trained it to your workers, we want to acknowledge all that great work, and we want to reward you financially, also you know, those non-recognition rewards that we've spoken about, that, you know what, you might be able to meet the deadline of August 1st. So, you know, but this is definitely, if you're interested, I encourage you to have a conversation with 4S, or if you like, you could speak to me, and we can further elaborate on the program requirements and what is needed to get you to that goal, if the August 1st is your goal that you need to meet or would like to meet.
Thanks a lot, Florence. That was again very helpful. So I am seeing the comment box and I don't see any more questions. And the name of the person who asked the question is shown as a letter here. So it'll be great if the person could just say out his name, because I'd like to thank him for a very good question. Because timeline, oh, Denise, thanks a lot, Denise. Denise is the person, D for Denise. Yeah. So thanks a lot, Denise, because that was a very pertinent question that will be in virtually every person's mind, especially those on this webinar. What's the timeline? Timeline is critical only for the November aspect. But if you're looking at the next year spring rebates, you have lots of time and we can work right from the scratch. So as I wait for another maybe 3 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes for any more questions to come in, I'd like to thank everyone on this webinar, especially WSIB Florence, as always, is a superstar who's always supported us and helped us in all our initiatives. And WSIB has been amazing at supporting its providers, because it's without their support, we will not be able to extend the kind of services we are extending to everyone. And here's an opportunity for everyone who's working on COVID-19 prevention or mitigation at the workplaces in some way or the other to get incentivized. Thank you very much for joining this webinar, and please do let your colleagues or your other peers know that if they've missed this webinar because of a busy schedule, we are recording this webinar and the link will be provided to you through this Suomen Association, so people can watch the video and get back to us offline also with questions. And all the contact details are right in front of you. It'll be great if you could note down the contact details. If you want to know anything about the program, you can contact our team, and you can note down the name of the person is Abby, ABI, or you can also contact Addie, that's me. And you can write to the email address info@forestconsult.com, or here are the telephone number and the website details. Once again, thank you very much for joining today. And thank you, Myron, also for giving a clear perspective of the topics and revisiting the topics again, because it is very critical in terms of the timelines. Appreciate everyone, and have a safe and an awesome day. So we'll end the webinar with this since we have no more questions. Please stay safe. Keep your workplaces safe. Keep fighting COVID, and remember, we are with you. Forest is with you, and WSIB is with you. Thanks a lot. Have an awesome, awesome day. Bye-bye.